Hello, family. I'm Yolanda, and I'm one of your guides in Royal Affairs, where we show you affairs done right. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you've been around with us for a while, welcome back. We like to always begin by pointing out that we're not therapists, we're not, counselors or anything like that. What we are is a couple who loves to travel. We're a couple who loves to share our experiences and our story with others. And we use this platform to share how we've used and how we are using travel as a pathway to heal after experiencing infidelity. Our oldest son got married last October. Very proud of him. Prior to that, though, we were having a discussion. I can't remember the details or anything like that. It may have been on finances. It may have been on. I honestly I can't remember. But he asked us some questions and we explained. Well, this is how we do it. This is what we do. This is you know this is what we do. This is, I want to maybe say it was finances. Let's just go with that. But we were just saying, yeah, and this is what we do, and this is how we do it, and this is how we do things. And then a very good family friend of us, we call him a brother, was over as well. And so he shared, yeah, well, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and that, the whole 9 yard. And so our son said, oh, okay, so then I need to do it like this, and then I need to do it like that. And so we were all quick to say, well, no, that's not necessarily the case. This is what works for us. His dad and I was like, this is what works for us. And then our brother, he calls him Unc, and his uncle said, and this is what works for us. And so we were quick to say, you have to find out, and you guys have to figure out what works best for you. If some of these things work, then definitely take it, apply it, and the things that don't work, then don't apply those things. But you don't have to marry yourself to this set of things that works for us, or this set of things that works for your uncle. Take what you can, learn from it, adapt to it, and leave what doesn't apply to you. And I said all of that to say that although our story is infidelity, that may not be your story. Your story may be a breach of trust in another area. It may be something completely different, or it may just be you guys are wanting to experience travel and you're wanting to do some of the things that we're seeing that's helping us after experiencing infidelity. You may want to make sure that you start doing those things, or you want to continue doing those things. And that's not to say that doing these things or not doing these things are the cure all, end all, be all, because we can't control what another person does. What we are just saying is these are the things that has helped us. These are the things that are rekindling our romance. These are the things that are reigniting the passion. These are the things that are helping us along the way. So if these things apply, and if this is something that you believe is worthwhile, then stick around. For the past couple of months, we have been talking on various subjects. We always give an introduction, and then I give my perspective, Roy gives his perspective, and then we'll come back and do a recap. And today it's my turn to share with you my perspective on the topic of travel necessitating teamwork and compromise. And I believe it was the last video that we shared that I'm an only child. And so surprisingly though, I think we said that when it comes to teamwork, I'm good at that. I think only children may get a bad rep, but I'm good at that. And when it comes to compromise, maybe it was our introduction video. Maybe, I could stand to do a little bit more work on compromise, but not just because I'm an only child. I think even if you have siblings, we can all stand to, be flexible is what we're teaching our youngest son. So just wanted to point out a couple of pointers that resonates with me when I think about how Roy and I are navigating these streets after infidelity when it comes to teamwork and compromise and travel. So when you are traveling, you have to plan together, right? Unless it's a surprise. And in that case, and there's no planning together. You're doing the planning, or he's doing the planning, she's doing the planning. But when it's a trip that the both of you are aware of, and it's a vacation that the both of you are aware of, then you're planning together. And so the process of planning that trip, you're going to discuss the destinations, the activities, and the budget. So this forces you guys to communicate openly, and then you're going to make decisions together. So for me, I'm probably the worst client when it comes to a vacation, when it comes to the budget aspect, because I want what I want, and it's not necessarily I don't necessarily look at the budget as being the determining factor, but because we're planning a vacation together, that's something that Roy and I have to discuss, right? So Yolanda, doesn't matter if the budget to you is not that important. The budget to your husband is important, and there's no sense in having something like the budget erode the relationship. And so that's something that you have to have teamwork on. You have to plan it. You have to plan your destinations. I think we do a good job when it comes to destinations, when it comes to teamwork, because usually I do a little bit of research. I do a lot of research. And so we've said it before, Roy and I, we love just being near the beach, being, having the beautiful water and the beautiful sand. So the destinations that are typically on the table are going to be beach destinations, with the exception of when it's, hey babe, let's do Vegas. Or I know last year we did San Diego for an event Roy had, and so that was pretty cool. But usually when it comes to destinations, there may be maybe 3 or 4 that we're choosing from, but they're all going to include the things that we like. The beach is going to include a resort that's nice, or a place that's nice, or hotel that's nice, or something like that. So, but even still, we have to narrow down those options. If you have 4 on the table, you can't go to all 4 at the same time. So what we usually do is I'll give them, hey babe, this is what I'm thinking, what are your thoughts, and we will rank them. And sometimes we end up with one destination being the first choice of both of us, and then sometimes it's not. And when that happens, that's when that compromise, that teamwork comes in. I think usually it's what may be the deciding factor of maybe Roy's number 1 is this destination and my number 1 is another destination. What tends to sometimes be a deciding factor for us is okay, what's the budget? How much does it cost for here versus how much does it cost for there? And then how easy is it going to be to navigate things when we get there? So if the budget of my number 1 overshadows the and the logistics and things like that, makes it challenging, then we'll do Roy's number 1. And just the opposite, if his number 1 is like, no, that's logistically speaking, that's not good. And especially if the air, I meant to say, and the air logistics, like and the time and the flight schedule and things like that, because I don't know what's happening, but my equilibrium or something is all off, and I get motion sickness quite easily now. So if the destination requires a stop, then that's a deciding factor in whether we're going to choose that even if it is my number one, if I look at the flight schedule and there's it's not a nonstop flight, then that's just automatically going to throw that out. Or if the times are just really, really horrible, then that's going to throw it out. But again, that's where that compromise, that's where that teamwork, that's where those conversations, come in. And it's okay, well, this is my number one. What makes it this is what makes it my number one. Okay, babe, this is your number one. What makes it your number one? So you're having those conversations, and it's not a stressful conversation. It's not a conversation that's about the affair or the infidelity or whatever it is. It's just an opportunity to have a conversation with one another where the stakes are not as high, if that makes sense. So that's one thing, planning together. So when you can do this, and especially after you've experienced infidelity, it can definitely be an exercise in rebuilding trust. I was having a conversation with our oldest daughter on yesterday, and I actually, in essence, just told her, the same thing. When you are able to start, doing things on a scale that may not have as much of what's the word I'm looking for? The stakes are not so high. So when you are able to do things on a lower scale and the stakes are not so high, once you begin to do that and get accustomed to that, when the stakes are high, you're just going to automatically respond the way that you have responded when the stakes are, low. You're just going to continue to do that. And so that's the same thing when you're planning together. It's the stakes aren't so high. So you're able to communicate effectively. You're able to say, well, I really don't like this. I really don't care for this. I'm really not a fan of this destination. I'm really not a fan of, the location or anything like that. And you guys are okay with that because the stakes are not high. So the second thing is when you are navigating new environments. So when you're in a new environment, it almost, especially if the environment is new to both of you, so it almost forces you to work together as a team because you're in a place where you've never been. You're in a destination that's new to both of you. Maybe you don't know the language. Maybe, you don't know where this place is, where that place is. So it forces you to work together, as a team so that you can navigate that new destination. I remember when we were in San Diego, and I admit, I'm not the paper map person. I need you. I don't. What's the word I'm looking for? If you tell me where north is, I'm good. North, south, east, west, I'm good with that. But as far as actually seeing it on the phone, on the map, or whatever, and it's like you're pointing out, well, you got to go this, that. I'm not very good at that. I'm visual, so I need you to physically say, okay, you're gonna walk out the door, you're gonna make a left, and you're gonna go down to this street and then make a right, or whatever, things like that. Whereas Roy, he can just see it on the map and it's like, okay, I thank God that I have GPS, and now the GPS will even guide you when you're walking. So he is able to navigate he's able to navigate when it comes to that, like as far as like the maps and things like that. So that's definitely a benefit to us, unless of course, again, the map somehow gets us turned around. I think we got turned around when we were in San Diego. We were walking and we were supposed to go this direction, and we did, but it wasn't. I'm gonna have to ask him what that was, but it was like, okay, babe, this is not where we're supposed to be. And when I become anxious or nervous, I tend to go from here to maybe there, and it's just because it's unknown to me. It's like it's unfamiliar, and oh my goodness. Whereas Roy, he can has a way of just, okay, baby girl, this is what we need to do, and just calm me down. So even again, in those instances where you have to navigate those new environments, you're working together as a team, right? So you're able to, again, the stakes aren't that high. You're not talking about, what you did this, you said this, why are we still having this conversation? You're not talking about any of those things. You're just navigating a new environment together. And if you get lost, then you are navigating getting unlost together. I don't even think that's a word, but you're still navigating that time. The bottom line is that you are working together, as a team. And then you have to compromise on preferences. I think in the beginning I said that for me, I don't really, let me not say I don't care about the budget, but I like what I like. And so when you are compromising on your preferences, traveling means you have to balance your different interests and what you want to do. My cousin, we've just gotten a lot of people that just got married. My cousin recently got married, and his fiance was telling me before at the time, now they're married, but was saying, and my son, his wife, then fiance at the time as well, were saying that when they go on vacation, so the guys, my son and my cousin, they just want to stay in the room and just chill and relax and, don't even have to get up and do anything. Whereas the gals, they're like, no, hey, we on vacation. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And so when you are having to compromise on preferences, you have to be able to have those conversations about, okay, well, what is it that you want to do? And what is it that you want to do? Well, I want to stay in the room, or I want to stay in the cabin. I don't want to get out the bed until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Or I want to get up, I want to go sightsee. I want to experience all that there is to experience in this wonderful new environment that we've just navigated. So when you compromise, you have to be willing to look at the interests of both partners, right? And then be okay with, well, maybe this trip I only get to do maybe 2 of the things that I really wanted to do. But the next time it'll be different. Or on this trip, hubby, partner, whatever, he gets to do everything he wants to do because I have had a long, last couple of weeks, and all I really want to do is just stay in bed. I know we're on vacation, but all I really want to do is just stay in bed and order room service and call it a day. Whatever the case may be, you have to be able to work together and discuss what you guys are going to do. I know when we went to Vegas, I believe it was 2022. Yes, 2022. We both had some of the same interest, and we both said that and I don't even think it was a discussion, but it ended up being where we both just didn't get out the bed until late in the afternoon, and we were both okay with that. And I think because we have younger kids, and so with younger kids, you're getting up early, getting school, and you're working and all those good things. So we didn't even have the discussion of we're going to stay in bed until the afternoon. It was just something that happened, and get up. You want to get out the bed, do something? Nope. And we didn't. So that's something. However, there have been occasions where Roy has wanted to do something and I just absolutely did not want to do it. And in that instance, it's okay, well, do we sit and argue about something that he may want to do that I don't want to do? Or do we just say, okay, well, you go ahead, have fun, and I will be here, when you get back. And that's usually some of it. I don't want to say usually, but because we do things together. But for those instances where it's okay, well, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. Okay, well, I'm not going to make you do anything that you don't want to do. So you go do what you want to do. I'll do what I want to do. And then when we come back, we'll meet up together. It actually did happen on our family cruise in December. Roy wanted to go listen to something, and I think I may have just wanted to go sit at the bar, or it may have been vice versa. But whatever it was okay. Well, you do this, I'm gonna do this, and at 9 o'clock we're gonna meet back up at this location. So that again, when you're compromising, that's gonna again low stakes because there's nothing high right there, right? So you're able to have those conversations without the tempers flaring. You're able to have those conversations without anything being high stake. So again, that is definitely a good finding a compromise helps you guys practice flexibility. We are teaching our son, it's okay to be flexible. It's okay to not want to do the same things that your partner may want to do. But in saying that, it's okay if you do want to do the same things and carving out that time. It's just a matter of what you're doing basically is just opening the lines of communication again in a non-threatening, non-stressful, non-high stake topic, right? Like, what do you want to do when you're on vacation? Pretty low key, that's nothing stressful, it's not high stake or anything like that. And so doing those things, when you are planning together, when you're navigating new environments, and when you're compromising on your preferences, all of that basically is going to boil down to you guys having quality time and shared experiences together. And I think that is, I know that is definitely needed when you've experienced something like infidelity, when there's been a breach of trust, another error, or just when life gets to life, and right, you just need to have that quality time and shared experiences, because the more that you're able to have that quality time together, the more that you're able to have those shared experiences, the more you're going to be able to rebuild that trust, the more you're going to be able to communicate openly and honestly with one another, the more you're going to be able to rebuild, rekindle, reignite, the flame of your relationship. So that's about all that I had when it comes to travel necessitating teamwork and compromise. So if you like what you are hearing, then please be sure to like. And if you want to stay in the know of all things Royal Affairs, then be sure to hit that notification bell. And also, I sound like my husband. Last week he was like, I know I'm giving a whole bunch of instructions, but be sure to tune in next week when Roy will give his perspective, and then the following week we'll come back again and do a recap. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Till then, this is Yolanda of Royal Affairs, where we show you affairs done right.